scheduled to start in 13 seconds. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
1.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Welcome everybody to BDA Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend Mr. BDA, flying solo for the evening, and we've got a special show for you today. It's a very short show. It's only gonna be about 45 minutes. It's about 45 minutes, but remember, fellas, it's not about how big the show is. It's about how you use that time. That's what I always tell people. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a little show just to get everybody's opinion if anybody comes in. Or I'm going to be opening up the phone lines as well, so you get your thoughts across on Canelo or Yildirim. And then we're going to be premiering the Fury Wilder documentary, King vs. King. That's going to be taking place in about 45 minutes from now. Luckily for us, there's not much to say about yesterday's fight. There's more to talk about the future rather than the past. So before we get down to the fun and before I put the number up on the screen for the phone lines, let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Carlos Ruiz, Mr. Popo, SSB28, Tucker Johnson, PSK, Carlos Mendoza, and many more people to come, I'm sure. What are people saying? What's poppin'? Tucker Johnson says, finally caught one of these. Oh, okay, yeah, you're catching it live. Mendoza says, Adrian Broner would throw more punches than what Yildirim did last night. Full disclosure, man, I didn't even see the fight last night, so I'm wholly unprepared for this. Don't really know how we're going to do this then if I didn't see the fight. But you know what? Hopefully people call in, and we're really going to get down to it. The phone lines are open right now, by the way, fellas, so if you want to call in right away, let me put up the number right there. There we go. That's the number right there. And I might just, if nobody comes in, I might just put up a Discord, not a Discord, StreamYard, see what everybody says. But like I said, I didn't even watch the fight, haven't even really seen highlights. I was surprised to hear the result, that they stopped the fight. The fight scout says there was no fight. So, okay, let me ask you this, fellas, in the chat room. What happened essentially? Was it a beatdown for 2.5 rounds or whatever, however long it went, and then Joel Diaz stopped the fight, or what happened? Because I was expecting Canelo to take it a little bit further, not exactly blow his load, take his time, play around on the ropes. And instead, I look at the result and it says Canelo TKO or whatever the hell it was, round 3. But I suppose the real result or the real story, at least for me, fellas, is that they announced the Billy Joe Saunders fight. But I do want to talk about that and some of the doubts people are having about that fight even taking place. But may I just remind you that the phone lines are open? And may I also remind you, fellas, sailors, that we will be premiering the Fury Wilder documentary at 6. So we're going to be out of here at 5:45. Let's see what people are saying. Somebody informed me about the fight. Carlos Luis says Diaz was yelling he was going to stop the fight after the 3rd round. Is Joel Diaz taking pointers from Buddy McGirt now? Is that what's going on? Is he stopping? Does he want to beat Buddy McGirt in the school of stopping fights as early as possible? Hawker Massa says, BDA, does Canelo look like he's pound for pound? I don't know. I didn't even see the fight. I tell you what, he looked pound for pound against Callum Smith. I know it's an unpopular opinion because everybody says the guy was weight drained. Callum Smith, that is. But look, I look at what happens in the ring. I don't like Canelo as a character, but I do respect his boxing skills, fellas. I don't know what to tell you. St. Britt, shout out to St. Britt, says Yildirim purposely was not responding in the corner. He needs an Oscar. Oh, it was one of those. Like, you want me to stop the fight? And the guy just looks away. Fuck. SSB28 says Hearn and Canelo pulled a fast one. Yeah, they pulled out fast, man. That's what I do. Carlos Mendoza says fight was stopped. Yildirim no mass after round 3. Yildirim didn't throw a single punch. But I guess my question is, fellas, was Canelo laying a beating on him? Because I'll be clear here. I did watch the first round, I think 50 seconds. Then I was doing something else and I shut off because I couldn't do 2 things at the same time. But what I did see was Canelo pounding the guy's body a little bit. So somebody please inform me if it was indeed a beatdown for 3 rounds. Hawker Mustang says I was disappointed in Pilgrim. He didn't give all the Canelo fans the devastating KO that everybody was looking for. Or maybe he knew he was coming. He said, fuck this. See, guys, that's why there's a difference between pound for pounders, world-class guys, and then you got guys like Yildirim. They just don't want to take that punishment. And maybe after the Eubank knockout, he's not willing to go down route again. Jay Perez says Yildirim didn't want to go back in there. Complete circumstance of a fight, says St. Britt. Clint Beastwood, great name by the way, says Canelo took Yildirim's soul. Well, that presupposes the fact that Yildirim had a soul in the first place. He's from Turkey, by the way, so he's got that genocide blood inside of him. Just read up on what they did to the Armenians. So these guys are vicious, and for him to pull out that way, it's pretty disappointing. Chris Gonzalez says Canelo was vicious with the body shots. PSK says vicious body shots and uppercuts. Jay Perez, shout out to Jay Perez, says Canelo dropped him and was beating him up. Dr. Mofongo says Yildirim literally did nothing. See, I was at least expecting the guy to at least throw a couple of shots, because even against Anthony Durrell and against Eubank, he tried a little bit. But so this is very disappointing to hear. Carlos Ruiz says, yes, Canelo was hitting him with everything and Yildirim only landed one good punch. You know what? The more I hear from what happened last night, the more I'm happy I didn't even watch the fight, man. RB26 says 2 hands versus Johnny Junkie on the undercard. You people are still talking about these fucking YouTubers fighting each other. Get the fuck out of here. SSB28 says, BD, if you want to watch a fight, go watch Zhang versus Jerry Forrest. What type of name is that, Jerry Forrest? Heavyweight fight. It was kind of crazy, LOL. All right, I'll be checking that out, man. Give me 2 seconds here. I got to do something. Check the phone lines. Phone lines are open, people. Phone lines are open. And like Buchu is reminding me there, don't forget to join the documentary premiere, King versus King, the story of Wilder Fury. And hold on a second. I'm trying to look for the link here. Well, actually, Buchu just put it, but I'm going to keep putting it. Why not? So, yeah, go check that out. Okay, also the Chinese guy's fight was good. I'm going to check that out, man. I'm going to be checking that out for sure. Let's see a couple more comments here. Hold on a second. Did I even put the right link there? Yes, I did. Okay. Pilgrim says Enoch Powell, LMAO. Yeah, Pilgrim, what is that? Oh, I see we got Stu. Stu, are you there? Stu.
Yes, BDA, we saying, brother.
How you doing, man? Thank you for being on, man. It's kind of like a last-minute show because we're premiering the Fury Wilder documentary in about... Well, we're going to end this at 5:45, so 38 minutes from now. There's not that much to say. I didn't even watch the Canelo fight, Stu. Did you watch it?
Just caught up the highlights just for this show. I saw you was on the show and I had to fucking go and catch the highlights because basically it was one of them where didn't really give a shit, did you? I mean, I told you what Yildirim was going to be. I think, you know, I think the punching bag in Canelo's boxing gym has given better fights than Yildirim did last night. I mean, the guy is just dreadful. He really is. I mean, he made Chris Eubank Jr. look like fucking Julian Jackson that night. So what did what was he going to do to Canelo Alvarez? I mean, look, let's be fair. When Canelo's throwing punches, there's not a better sight in boxing. Just beautiful to watch. But Yildirim went in there with he had a look of him of a guy who weren't there to win, weren't there to try and hit Canelo. He was just there to knock the fuck out. That's all it was. His game plan was don't get knocked the fuck out. It was just methodical stuff behind the guard. It was just nothing. He wasn't setting up no punches, just a piss poor jab that he was throwing out, pushing it out. He was getting countered left, just covering up. He was doing nothing. I mean, it's just not a fight that should have even been made. And look, I'll give Canelo a pass on this one because obviously Saunders looks like he's going to be next, and that's the one we all want. So I don't mind that, but that can't be happening very often. I mean, that's just not acceptable. Yildirim had no business in that boxing ring tonight. The guy, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be cruel because he's a better fighter than I'll ever be, but he is fucking useless. He really is, and he's.
See, when people say Stu, see, we've had that conversation before where people go, "No, we got to respect these fighters." Not really, man. Because listen, I'm paying for the zone. No. I assume you're paying for whatever it is that they.
Of course I am, bro. Yeah, of course I'm paying for that, bro. And you know, whether it's £2, whether it's £10, whether it's fucking £100, at the end of the day, I expect quality. It's not a lot to ask, you know. At the end of the day, this is the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. I don't want to see a fucking guy that should be making my kebab, not fucking do. That's what he should be doing.
Come on.
He should be making my kebab. He shouldn't be in a boxing ring. Get out.
You know what I thought, man? Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, BDA.
These guys from Turkey, right? I said, okay, he's strong. He's got a big cinder block of a head. I thought he was going to go a couple of rounds because I said maybe Canelo doesn't want to get injured. Maybe he'll take it easy and not bust his hands over the guy's head. Plus, the guy's from Turkey, so he's got that genocide blood inside of him. I expected something better, but I said, you know what? Last minute, I said, you know what? I was editing an Anthony Joshua video, and I said, you know what? I'll wait for the fight tomorrow. But based on what you're telling me and what people are telling me, I'm glad I didn't watch the fight. But yeah, so Yildirim should be derided for this, right?
Look, I mean, I'm not going to give a man credit for getting knocked the fuck out and doing nothing while he did it. You know, at the end of the day, I can accept if he went in there, swung a few shots and just weren't good enough on the night. He was never going to be good enough anyway, I know that. But this guy, he didn't even go in there to try and at least hurt Canelo, try and win the fight, try and at least put on a show so he can come again another time. So people think, well, I wouldn't mind watching Yildirim again. Who's going to want to watch Yildirim again after that? I didn't want to watch him again after the Eubank fight. I said, if I never see that guy again, it'll be too soon. And here he is with the pound for pound #1. Talked his way into a fight. I mean, just look, embarrassing. Really was. Look, I'm one of Canelo's biggest fans. You know, that's just, I don't want to watch that. I really don't want to watch that.
What was the point of the fight?
This is where we are. What?
What was the point of the fight? I don't get why Canelo, because he wants to keep the belts. Come on.
I mean, it's just the most pointless fight I've seen in a long time. But, you know, this guy got knocked out in 2 rounds by Eubank Jr. Let that sink in for a little bit here. You know, if that was look, if Golovkin took that fight, I'd be the first one to fucking be on his back. So I've got to keep it fair. That's not acceptable, really. But if Saunders is next, I'll let it fly.
But like you said, not too often, right? We don't want to see this type of mismatches. Like the Rocky Fieldings and the Yildirims, we know they can't beat Canelo. So don't jerk us around with this type of matchups, you know? And I didn't even watch it. Like I said, I got a subscription to DAZN, did not bother to watch it. I was doing something else. So I am a hardcore boxing fan, but I'm not a shill.
Do you know how much interest this fight had, bro? I forgot it was even on. I went through my YouTube page. Not one channel is talking about it. DAZN, DAZN couldn't even be bothered to send me an email to tell me about it. You know, jeez. I mean, this is where we are with this fucking fight, man. I mean, What was the I mean, that's the main card. I hate to think what the undercard was.
Apparently,
Did they bring
people
back the Hebrew Hammer or something?
yeah, they had the Hebrew Hammer, and Dimitri Salida made a comeback too. No, they said apparently there was a Chinese guy. I think it was a Chinese heavyweight in the undercard. Apparently that was boring.
Yeah, Zhang.
Yeah, whatever his name is, you know, he was boring.
I think did he get a draw or something?
I don't know. I think so. People tell us in the chat and let us know.
Like I said, I just didn't have any interest. This is what I mean about boxing. It's how you expect to get people on side with this sport when you're putting on that. Why are you gonna? It's like, you know, like say Match of the Day's on right now, isn't it? Match of the Day's on right now, and you're seeing the best play the best at football. You just don't see that at boxing. You know, you just. This is why boxing's is struggling, especially in the States. The States have got a lot, you know, like to tell us, there's a lot to do over there. There is. And you've got all them things to do and all them beautiful women. Why are you going to fucking waste your Saturday night in watching that Turkish bum? Come on, man.
Yeah, you know, I love boxing. You know that. But I am not a shill. I am not going to waste however long that fight took. I was doing something more important. Let's put it that way. Also, before we continue, shout out to Chris K, who donated the super chat. He says, Yildirim shelled up and he still quit in 3 rounds. Virtuoso donated the super chat as well. He says, I blame Benavidez' weight struggles for this. All right, shout out to you fellas. Yeah, Stu, I mean, from what you saw, how bad a beating was it that Yildirim decided to call it a day after 3 rounds?
Look, it's one of them where he was getting bashed up, but you know, it wasn't. It was hardly where he was in. He couldn't carry on. I just think his will and desire went. If you get what I'm saying, it's just one of them where you think, I can't win this fight. I've hit him with my best shot. He walked through it and hit me with a bomb. And you know, this is like the 3rd or 4th round, whatever it is. There's a long way to go. Canelo, he's like an old steam train. It just takes a while to get going, but once he gets going, he's flying. And he was only going to get better. And Yildirim was only going to get worse. So, look, they saved him from a hell of a beating, if you ask me. But to be honest with you, they put us out of our misery as well, didn't they? I mean, look, put us out of our misery. Would you want to watch 36 minutes of that? No. I mean, that's a glorified sparring session for Canelo. Canelo is like I said, for me, the top fighter in the world right now, and he has to be fighting big names all the time now. There's no time to be wasting with these bum-ass mandatories, man. I mean, Yildirim, what did Yildirim do, by the way, to get this mandatory?
He lost his last fight against Anthony Durrell.
This is what I'm saying. How can anyone take boxing serious? How can anyone take it serious when a guy who gets beat, and not before, and even when he got beat then, he lost in bad fashion to Chris Eubank Jr., a middleweight, by the way. He's not even a super middleweight. He's a small middleweight at that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this guy, he shouldn't have been in the ring. And I can't sit here and give Canelo too much credit for it. Even though I'm one for praising Canelo, I'll get a bit of stick for it on the show. But I can't come on here tonight and say anything good about that. Like I said, the punching bag in Canelo's gym has hit Canelo more times than fucking Yildirim did last night.
Hey, are you moving around or something? Because I heard a little bit of clicking there. Or like something chafing. Or anyway.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm sitting...
Okay.
I'm as still as Yildirim was last night. Don't worry, I ain't moving.
It's like, yeah, man. I mean, this guy was like 3 rounds. I know Canelo hits hard and everything, and I know we got to respect fighters because they're going through the ropes and blah blah blah. But come on, guys, 3 rounds. This guy didn't deserve to be there, man. But Canelo wants to keep his title. All right, but listen, that's why I didn't even watch it. Michael Poe, shout out to Michael Poe. Says, anybody notice that Canelo's fights lately, people don't seem to show up with any passion? Or is that just me? All right, I want to tell you something here right now. By the way, thank you, Michael, for your contribution. Stu, I was rewatching the Smith-Canelo fight the other day, like a couple of days ago, because I was choosing clips for a video. I don't get this whole thing about Callum Smith not showing up to win. Look, the guy's slow. He's got those long-ass arms with those hooks. He did try the jab, which is what he was supposed to do, but that jab was ineffective because of Canelo's defense. I don't get this whole thing about Callum Smith showing up there to lose. You know,
he came to win, mate. He came to win. Like all British fighters come to win. I mean, that's one thing about we come to win. Whether we're not good enough on the night is a different story. He came to win. Thing with Canelo, he destroys you mentally the way he fights. I mean, he just constantly got you thinking, and basically, whatever you're doing is not working because he's defensively sound. You fall short with a shot. You're getting countered with a big bomb. He can come up with an big uppercuts. He's got the hooks. He's got the big straight right hand. I mean, he's just got everything. Everything he does is world class, and I think fighters get in there with him. And I mean, the Golovkin's the only one that's really gone in there with him and fancied his chances. I mean, after a few rounds, where Callum Smith been in there a few rounds and thought, "There's no way I can beat this guy," and you sort of like lose the will to win. I mean, you might still throw punches, still trying, but just nothing was working for Smith, and that's the problem with Canelo. I mean, just a very, very tough guy to beat right now. So look, Smith come to win. Smith come to win, bro. Of course he did. I mean, I'm not having it where he didn't. Yildirim didn't come to win. I'm not going. Yeah, I'll give you that one. But Smith come to win. He went the distance. He just wasn't good enough. This is the thing that people don't. It's like saying, "Oh, he didn't try." I mean, some of the time, the fact that he lasted 12 rounds is probably an achievement to him when he got in the ring with Canelo, because you don't realise how good a guy is until you get in there with him. Sometimes the TV doesn't tell you the whole story, you know. And when you're doing things in there that usually work against other guys and they're just not happening, you know, you need 3 or 4 game plans against Canelo, or you need just amazing work rate and good punching power, which Golovkin's got. But Golovkin's also technically very good with his punches. You know, you can't just be throwing wide shots and wild swings against Canelo. They're not going to land. You have to be technically sound with your shots as well. Just a very hard man to beat, isn't he? And Yildirim was never going to be the guy to do it.
Great points. I mean, look, I know people think all Canelo's fights are fixed, and I don't blame you. Look, boxing has itself to blame for all the bad decisions it's given us and all the shenanigans that occur. But that being said, look at what Yildirim did. He wasn't, and look, I hate to tell a guy how many rounds he should go before he thinks he's had enough, but 3 rounds, so like he won't even, look at Callum Smith, he took 12 rounds of punishment and body shots and a fucked up arm and everything. This guy didn't even try for 3 rounds.
Mate, he didn't want it. He didn't want it the minute he stepped on the plane to go there. Do you think that this guy he's cashing out, mate? He's cashing out. He's just not good enough. He knows that. I mean, if you can't beat Canelo Alvarez, do you think he's going to beat the Charlo and fucking people like that? I'm sorry, if you can't beat Chris Eubank Jr., you know, do you think he's going to beat even the Charlo if he went up to 168? He ain't beating Andrade. He's not beating any of them. Canelo, definitely not, obviously. Golovkin goes through him like a doorway. Who does this guy beat? I just can't think of anyone. I mean, I'd pick John Ryder to beat this guy.
Yeah, so would I. Yeah, so would I. Mark from Unrivaled Boxing, he was here one time and he was telling us, breaking down the situation as to why Yildirim had become the mandatory. It was something really bizarre. He didn't even earn it. I think that was the gist of it. I already forgot, because it's not because the Mark didn't tell it well, but because that's how little I care about these alphabet titles. I already forgot their shenanigans. But now let me ask you this. They announced the Billy Joe Saunders fight. And like SSB28 in the chat room said, they had it ready already. They knew there was no way they weren't going to be playing that shit afterwards, because they knew Yildirim had no chance.
Come on, man. I mean, I think everyone could sign them forms comfortably, knowing that Yildirim wasn't going to upset the cards. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
exactly.
Look, no one. There's just not one person in this universe that thought that Yildirim had a chance, and it played out like that. So even Yildirim himself. So of course that fight was signed before, and it's a fight I like. All right, Canelo is a favourite, of course he is, but Billy Joe Saunders, when he's in there with someone dangerous, when he's fit, on his game, he's a difficult man to fight. You know, he's got very good footwork. He's hard to hit clean. But the thing is with Canelo, he's just... I just don't think Billy Joe's going to have enough. But it's going to be a different style for Canelo, because Canelo's weakness is footwork. Quick feet and fast hands are usually what gets to him as well. Do you know what I mean? Well, not so much now, but in the past with Trout and Lara and Floyd, you know. But I think he's a lot better now closing the ring. His feet are a lot better. He's just a lot better fighter. So even that, he's going to get the Saunders eventually. I just don't think you're going to keep away from Canelo for 12 rounds.
Well, I was reading the Sherdog forum, the boxing section, and man, it was about 7 pages of people saying Billy Joe Saunders has no chance to win this, and not because they don't think he doesn't have the required skills, but because they think the scorecards are already done. Now, apparently, Billy Joe Saunders, one of his sponsors is Impact Boxing, and people think he's gonna need that insurance for his asshole after he gets fucked by the judges. But let me ask you, Stu, do you think, is it fair to say at this point going forward, nobody can beat Canelo on the scorecards, they're already set? Because let's not forget, Stu.
Look,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, with the scorecard thing, I mean, I don't know. Look, you're going to have to be very busy on the night, aren't you? The thing is, a lot of people are trying to claim points wins over Canelo that have just not done enough on the night. Like Lara and Trout for a start. I mean, Trout was really close, I thought, that fight. Canelo, I wasn't impressed with Canelo's performance that night. I thought he was terrible against Lara, but I thought Lara was even worse. I just didn't do anything. Lara, he was holding and running. It's just not fight. That's not boxing for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you're a fucking purist or not, you know, that's not boxing to me. But look, I don't see anyone beating him on the cards anytime soon because. Like I said, this guy is a big star. He's the money tree, isn't he? So why are they going to rob this guy for someone that brings nothing to the table? I mean, it's going to have to be a big name. And Jack Napier is in the chat saying that he thinks Crawford beats Canelo. I mean, that Jack needs to go to fucking bed. He needs to stop taking ketamine all weekend and go to bed because that fucking guy, man.
That's what I was going to do.
Terence Crawford gets slept in devastating fashion. Let's just say that. Terence is not big enough for Canelo for a start. Canelo will even piece him up. The way Crawford throws them wide shots, mate, he's in terrible trouble in that one. So stop talking nonsense. But who beats Golovkin is too old now. I mean, who does beat Canelo right now? It's hard. You're going to have to go up to 175 for me.
Oh, all right. Well, listen. Okay. First of all, you know what? I was going to say something, but we got a phone call here, so let's go to it. 612. You're on the air. 612. What's on your mind?
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, 612? What's on your mind, man?
Hello. How's everyone?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Man, what a fight last night, huh?
I didn't even see it, man. So don't ask me questions. I want to hear what you got to say.
You didn't see it?
No.
No, I just think that if you're gonna get paid $2.5 million, you owe the fans to go out on your shield. And this guy's been out on the shield before, so there's no excuse. I mean, he literally did nothing. He just came and took the money and went home, basically. So,
well, let me ask you this then.
I'm going to say, Yildirim got $5 million for that.
2.5.
He got 5.
2.5.
How much?
2.5. It's 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was struggling to hear the caller. Mate, that's about 2.4 million too much for me.
Caller, would it be fair to withhold his purse?
Man, I don't. Maybe deduct, not withhold. Maybe deduct some. You know what I'm saying? Give him a penalty. Maybe there should be something in the contract where it says you got to go this many rounds before we give you $2.5 million. I don't know, or at least you need to get knocked out or something.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I already get people are probably going to say, well, what about you guys? You don't box. Well, that's why I don't box, because if I'm not ready to lay my life on the line for 2.5 mil, then that's why I wouldn't become a boxer. This guy goes in there, he's willing to take the money and then call it an early night. I mean, I don't know. Listen, Caller, what do you think about this whole idea that some people have of this noble endeavor? Oh, we got to respect all boxers. We shouldn't be able to criticize them. Isn't this one such instance where we are allowed to criticize a fighter?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, okay, yeah, I get that argument, but the thing is that some of these guys, they manipulate the system a bit. I feel like, I mean, especially when you see this guy go out, like there was, I mean, when you've seen this guy put in better efforts, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he has it within him to put a better effort on. So yeah, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Listen, if he'd have gone in there swinging like Tommy Hearns against Hagler and got knocked out in 2, would we have moaned? No. That happens in boxing. We accept that.
No,
but to go out like that.
That's the thing. If they get knocked out quicker, I've heard that it's better than taking a cumulative punishment. Just go out there and get knocked out. Go out there and give it your all.
Of course it is, yeah. It's better for you for the brain damage, that's for sure, isn't it? Taking punishment for 12 rounds is not good for anyone. But look, I'd have rather seen him swinging for the hills, at least having a try. You know what I mean? And then just getting knocked out. I accept that, but just to throw in the towel before you've even got in the ring is just not acceptable.
Hey, caller.
Yeah, BDA. The problem is that this guy didn't even. It didn't even seem this guy showed up to fight it. He didn't even let his hands go. Really, the commentators were talking about how we haven't even seen a punch from this guy.
That's amazing.
It was like the third. Yeah.
That's amazing. The guy apparently.
I want to talk about the.
Well, real quick, from what I read, from what I read in the comment section, people were saying that Yildirim barely landed a good punch in the fight.
I saw him land a big left hook, and Canelo ate it like he was going to eat his taco, like he would eat a taco, mate.
Okay, why you got to make it a taco, man? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the only Mexican food I can think of right now. But look. He swallowed that punch and then landed a big one on the Yildirim, and that's the most disheartening thing in boxing. You know, it's when you hit someone with your best shot, and he just sits there smiling at you, coming back with a bigger one. I mean, just that's sort of like I think that was Yildirim's time when he's thinking, there's no way I can win this fight. Because look, we're all human beings at the day. You know, all of us have been in fights. You know, we know we're not going to win. Well, you can just feel it. You know how it's going. When you're in there, you know what's going on. Don't you? You're the one taking the shots, and you just know, look, I can't beat this guy. But he's fighting, like I said, the best pound for pound fight in the world. Yildirim's probably not even the best fighter in Turkey right now. The way he's fighting, so
probably not, man. Yeah, probably not even the best fighter in the best super middleweight in his gym. Caller, you were going to say something?
Yeah, just one more point about what Stu was saying about the best fighter in Turkey, and then to think about this, to talk about how to talk all that bullshit about the Turkish warriors and Canelo's never been in there with the Turkish warrior, and to show out like that, that's just comedy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's why I always say these fighters should keep their mouths. These guys should keep their traps shut before a fight. Hey, let me ask you this then. They announced the Billy Joe Saunders fight. It was rumored that it was going to take place. Already, some people are speculating that Billy Joe Saunders might not even show up for that one. He might actually pull out or something. What do you think? Do you think it's a good fight? Do you think Billy Joe Saunders does something stupid and gets the fight canceled? Like, what do you see happening?
Okay, so 2 points. I think Billy Joe Saunders is a proud guy. I just don't see him doing that. And it being an easy fight, it's definitely not going to be an easy fight. Billy Joe Saunders is a quality fighter, and he has all the right ingredients to give Canelo a very difficult fight. And we don't know how Canelo is going to do against a boxer like that with good feet. The last time we've seen him with a good boxer, who was it? Was it Amir Khan? Can we count him?
If you want to, yeah.
Amir Khan.
Well, technically, Golovkin is a boxer. Daniel Jacobs, I would say, but we saw Jacobs after the Rosado fight. I think he just doesn't have his heart in it anymore. But yeah, keep going. I think I get your point. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think the question is going to be whether or not Billy Joe Saunders has, is he strong enough to keep Canelo off him? I don't think he's strong enough to keep. I don't think he hits hard enough to keep Canelo off him. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Well, we'll see, man. I've yet to see Billy Joe Saunders lose convincingly. I mean, I've seen him in close fights where people have made the argument that he could have lost. But so far, nobody has really been able to put a beating on him. So if Canelo can do that, I guess that's something for him to hang his hat on. But anyway, listen, we got to move on. But thank you for calling in, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man? Good call.
All right.
Good call as always.
Yep. Bye.
Take it easy. All right, let's go real quick to 912. 912, you're on the air. 912, what's on your mind?
What's up, fellas?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Let's keep it real, man. Canelo like LeBron, man. He never get credit for nothing. They gonna give him hell. This was just a keep busy fight, man, for Canelo. But in terms of the Billy Joe Saunders fight, I think he's got the legs. He's slick enough, but I don't know if he's got the endurance to endurance to beat Canelo for 12 rounds. I don't know if he's gonna be able to sit down on his punches when he needs to, and you know, trade when the fight gets in close quarters. Like, that's my only concern about Billy Joe. I just don't know if he can be slick for 12 rounds. Are we talking about this nasal spray Billy Joe, or are we talking about this Billy Joe?
I was gonna bring that. I was gonna bring that up. If we get Taco Canelo plus Billy Joe Saunders with his nose candy or whatever, does this make it a better fight? But you're saying no.
I just don't see him being able to, you know what I'm saying, go for 12 rounds. Canelo gonna track him down and he gonna finish him to the body or with a nice 2, 3, 4 piece. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see him being able to last 12 rounds. And even if he win, he ain't gonna win on the scorecard. So I mean, he got to knock Canelo out. He got to win 10 rounds.
Yeah. That's a good point about the cards, but yeah, go ahead, Stu.
I was just saying, the thing is with Billy Joe as well. I mean, he's not had the preparation for Canelo. I mean, he's not been in real top fights, you know, world-class level fights where he's had to dig deep, where he's had to fucking bring out the best of himself, where, you know, he's constantly out of shape, he's constantly getting banned. You know, the guy's, he'll have one decent performance and 2 poor performances against nobodies. You know what I mean? I mean, look, terrible preparation. You got to be fighting. He should have been fighting Andrade and people like that to be prepared for Canelo. Not fucking these guys. I mean, look, It's just mountain to climb. But like I said, Billy Joe's the sort of guy he can make it difficult for Canelo. You know, Canelo's not just going to have his way like he did with Yildirim, that's for sure. You know, it's just the thing is you've got to be able to stop Canelo in his tracks with his punching. Can Billy Joe stop him in his tracks with his punching power? I'm not sure about that.
Caller, what do you think about that?
Right, he ain't getting the right. You're right. He ain't getting the reps. And as much as guys want to say Canelo fighting bombs and all this, like he's active. You know, like his reflexes, his timing, none of that has taken an extended break. So even when he gets in there with a guy that we think is going to give him a good fight or a challenge, he's still been active. He's been getting the reps in. So I just don't see anybody beating him other than maybe Beterbiev, and he ain't been getting the reps. But I mean, he's a big, strong guy. But nah.
Hey, caller, let me ask you this though, because now people are saying that Billy Joe Saunders might not be able to get a fair shake in the decision if he goes to the cards. But Canelo is no longer with Golden Boy, and I'm going to go ahead and assume, it's an assumption, so I could be very wrong, but I assume that if somebody was causing some hijinks behind the scenes, that it would be somebody within Golden Boy who has experience on how to work the cards. Canelo now is a free agent. Does he have a target on his back now that he's a free agent? What do you think?
That's a good point, but I mean, he's still him and AJ are still probably the face of boxing, and you know, I guess, I mean, if that's a good point. I mean,
what do you mean by target on his back, though, BDA?
Well, what I mean by that is he no longer has the full protection of somebody that might know how to rig the scorecards. Because these guys don't do it for free, man. The judges. You know?
Hey, so you think Eddie Hearn hasn't got his back?
Eddie Hearn definitely got his back.
You think so, right, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, mate, do you think Eddie Hearn's any different to anyone else? Look how many poor scoring decisions we've seen in the UK. I mean, fucking Kiko Martinez will tell you that. But come on, man.
I guarantee you, if that fight is close and Canelo lays a fucking dud, he's still going to get the decision. If he doesn't get, fucking whitewashed or
stopped. If anything, Eddie Hearn's got more power than Oscar right now in boxing.
Okay, listen, caller, one last point, because we got to end the show in about 10 minutes. So anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I agree with what you said. I like the other brother just said. I mean, he's with Eddie Hearn. It ain't like he with Lou DiBella or somebody who ain't really got a lot of pull. So, I mean, even with Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Al Heyman, those are top 3 guys in the sport. So, close card,
of course,
gets the win.
All right, thank you for your call. Good call. Call back next time.
Good caller, by the way.
Yeah, good.
One of the best calls we've had for a while. Good call.
All right, fellas, peace.
Take it easy, man. Hey, we've had good callers today, man. Let's go to another one real quick, because again, we're finishing up this in about 9 minutes, because we're premiering the Fury Wilder documentary. 470, you're on the air. 470, what's on your mind?
What's up, guys? Just a couple quick points. The thing you were talking about with the Canelo Yildirim fight. One of my pet peeves is when people say you can't, not criticize a boxer's performance or his effort. I never boxed pro, but I've been in the ring on an amateur level. I've been in the ring sparring level, and there have been times where I've gone to the ring and I was nervous, I was scared, but I still did it, and I did it for free.
There you go.
So I just don't see how you can justify. And I'm talking about with killers, with knockout power. So I just don't see how a guy can get paid $2.5 million, and I'm supposed to throw a pity party for him, because he chose to be a professional boxer and he chose to go into the ring. And
Caller, the fighter didn't come. That Yildirim didn't come to win the fight. He didn't come to win.
You got to get in there and fight.
He didn't come there to win.
The second point. Exactly. The second point with you guys, I think we were talking about this the other day with the promoters. I think the Billy Joe Saunders Canelo fight. I think Canelo. I don't think he has the protection anymore. Eddie Hearn, okay, but Oscar De La Hoya, he was doing something to get whatever needed to get done. He got a draw with Floyd Mayweather, and he got a draw with Golovkin in the first fight. So I see this as a very tough fight for Canelo. I see Billy Joe Saunders. I think he's got the skills, he's got the foot speed, he's got the combinations, he's just got good overall boxing skill, which is more than what I've seen from Canelo's past few opponents. So I'm looking forward to it. And I've just never seen anybody really get over on Billy Joe. But in terms of the scorecards, I just think the era of this guy winning no matter what, I don't know if it's still, and he may, I think you should show more gratitude to Oscar, because Oscar really, looked out for this guy in the Lara fight. They tried with Mayweather, the Golovkin fights. So we'll see how Canelo does.
Yeah, but the thing is, Brian.
With Eddie.
Yeah, but the thing is, Brian, with the money Canelo brings, of course Oscar was looking after him. Just like Eddie's going to look after him, just like Al Heyman would look after him, just like Frank Warren would look after him. This guy is a cash cow. Of course, they're not going to. Why would it make sense just to say to rob Canelo against Callum Smith? I mean, everyone loses when they're, at the end of the day, of course, it pays for these guys to be looked after. Just like Anthony Joshua. Do you think you're coming to England and beating Anthony Joshua? Anthony Joshua's got the same promoter as Canelo. Do you think you're coming to England and beating Anthony Joshua on the cards? Especially if you're an American or from anywhere else.
Well, listen,
in a million years.
You never know, man. Pacquiao lost to Bradley. They both had the same promoter, and who knows what was going on there. Maybe it was.
Listen, Pacquiao got set up. We all know that.
Well, why
Bob Arum works different, man. He works different.
Actually, hold on.
Different gravy. Bob has set up. Pacquiao wasn't the first fighter Bob set up, and he won't be the last either. So come on, man.
Okay, let's get the caller make one last point, because we do have to go in about 6 minutes. So, caller, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I hear what Stu's trying to say. All I would say is that there's been several instances in boxing history of cash cows being robbed on the cards. De La Hoya is one of them. Oscar De La Hoya is one of them. Manny Pacquiao is another one. So, the politics of the law in boxing, you never know which way it's going to go. Yeah, but that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, by the way, what's your name? They've been robbed. The thing is that they've been robbed by people that were tipped to go on and be stars themselves. Like I said, De La Hoya being, did you say De La Hoya being robbed by Floyd? Did you say?
I think
by Sugar Shane.
But Sugar Shane, Oscar was coming to the back end of his career.
Trinidad, you could say would have won his way. Trinidad could have won that fight too.
Yeah. But like I said, these guys were tipped to go on and be. These are world-class fucking operators. We're talking about Shane Mosley is an all-time great.
Of course,
That's a difference. Being robbed when you're a big name and you're getting robbed, you're going to get robbed by someone's there to replace your name. They're not going to do it with someone that's just not going to bring nothing to the table.
Well, listen, we'll talk about this more as the fight grows near. But caller, thank you for your call. By the way, why do we call you? Because when I was talking to the previous caller, I remember your point about. That's why I brought it up about Canelo no longer have the protection. So what should we call you? So I remember next time.
Chris from Atlanta.
Chris from Atlanta. All right, gotcha. Thank you, Chris from Atlanta, for calling in. Great points as always. Catch you in the next one. All right, man.
All right, guys.
Take it easy, man. All right, listen, we're gonna have.
What nice to see the standard of calling is quite high today. It's a refreshing change from hearing that douchebag Kevin talking about nationalities and race all the time.
I'm not gonna let you badmouth Kevin, but you know what I think it is? I think it's because we did this last minute, so we didn't give some of the usual suspects time to prepare their attacks. But I
think Kevin's neighbour has shut off his internet, so that's probably why Kevin can't stream it.
Come on. All right, listen, we're going to have to go very, very soon. Again, we are premiering the Fury Wilder documentary at 6 p.m., so stay tuned for that one. So recognize, I want to get your points quick here. I didn't even see the fight, as promised. Did you see the Canelo fight? And if so, what did you think? Did you glean anything from it?
Nothing at all. The only thing I took from it was Canelo can be hit. He can be hit easily too. All he needs is somebody to just stop being afraid to hit him, and that's it. And I think you start getting a fight. I think there's a reason why these guys just, they're just dead. They're just dead meat when they go in. They're too afraid to hit him. For whatever reason that is, they're just afraid to hit him. Hit that man. His footwork is bad. He's got cement feet. Just hit that fucking dude. Hit him with some hard shots. Set it up with your jab. I mean, Yildirim was using his jab, but that's all he was using. And you could tell he was afraid. He was afraid to let his hands go. He's a shit fighter. He's a shit fighter. There's no doubt about that. But fucking let your hands go. The guy's there to be hit.
That jab was more to protect him than do damage, if you get what I'm saying, or set up a punch.
Right.
That's what to protect him, to keep Canelo sort of off him.
If he stood like that in front of any other fighter, they would, any other fighter that's there to win, they'll make him pay for that. They'll make him change his game plan quickly.
Yeah, but I disagree about Canelo being easy to hit. We're gonna have to talk about that later on.
Canelo sort of like forgot about his defense tonight. Just didn't need it. That body movements, them little head movements he was doing, that tucking it tight behind the guard, didn't need to do it. He just strolled forward with his hands down, letting his hands go, teeing up like a punching bag. It was. And I just want to address Jack before we go. We've got a couple of minutes. Jack, I mean, I lose the will to live listening to not reading this guy's comments. Sorry, not listening to him. Thank God I don't have to listen to him. But he's talking about Crawford beating Canelo. I mean, what planet is this guy? And then he's talking about, well, Floyd did it. Floyd did it many years ago. Floyd Mayweather is a far better fighter than Crawford for a start. And Canelo was very green back then. Put that Canelo against this Canelo. I mean, just stratospheres apart. Canelo is a far better fighter, more oiled machine. It's just a lot more schooled. That defeat to Floyd actually made Canelo a lot better fight, because I think he picked up a few things in the ring that night.
And outside the ring too, as well. Yeah, you're right.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. So how you can compare that? It's just use a bit of common sense, Jack. I know you're an Arsenal fan, and IQ is not your fucking strongest point, but come on.
Oh, geez, Louise, you're gonna go after the what's their nickname? The Spurs? What's the nickname for Arsenal? No, Spurs is Tottenham, right? Anyway, listen. The point is, by the way, 929. I know we're gonna have to go call back next time, right? 929. Don't stay on the line, because we're not gonna answer. We do have to go now. One last point. Recognize. And we're going to get back to that whole Canelo is easy to hit. But this whole idea of, we can't criticize fighters. Would it be fair to criticize Yildirim after the performance he gave last night?
No. He came to do exactly what he was there for, to lose. That's all. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not... Does anybody really take serious that he was the number one contender for the WBC?
Oh, no. After a defeat, by the way. I mean,
come on.
Boxing's the only thing... Boxing's the only sport where you can lose and end up as a world champion in the next fight. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Come on, man, fuck off.
Now you could disparage him, but in the same time, you gotta look at the guy who picked him, right? Like make no mistake about it. Canelo picked him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Look,
Yeah.
maybe it was just like I said, it was a stay busy fight, obviously, because of Saunders. They couldn't wait. I mean, I think they was that embarrassed about that fight. They couldn't wait to tell us about Saunders to try and save face. But look, I mean, it was one of them where Canelo's just in such good form at the moment. Why ruin it like a lot of these fighters do? I always preach this. Momentum in boxing is one of the most important things. When you're on form, when your timing's right and everything's going well, that's when you carry on fighting as much as you can, get the big fights in, because form is not permanent in boxing. You could turn up, you could be world class one day, turn up to a fight the next day, and it's gone. It's all gone. It just goes like that. So Canelo wants to make the best of this form because right now he looks unstoppable. That's because he's keeping busy. You can't expect Saunders, who comes off the couch after 8-9 months. Do you know what I mean? Fights a fucking chump.
I'll say this about Saunders'
Come on,
chance. Saunders' chance. If Saunders comes in good shape, really gamed, he has a good shot of beating Canelo. Canelo, I know he's pound for pound the best and all that stuff, and I get all that stuff, right? Okay, cool. He's beatable, bro. He's definitely beatable. And I think that if Billy Joe Saunders comes in there with the right game plan, the right spirit, the mind, the right shape, he can give Canelo a lot of problems and beat him.
Of course he can. Stylistically horribly wrong for Canelo, but I just don't think. I think you need a bit of pop in your shots. I think you need to get Canelo's respect. You know, get Canelo thinking about what he's doing. I mean, because that's what Golovkin did. Canelo couldn't have his way with Golovkin because he would get hit with a big shot if he tried to get too smart, sort of thing. So, but that was just
the key's been for Canelo since moving up in weight is his opponents are afraid to hit him. Once you get a fighter in there that's not afraid to hit him, sort of like Golovkin, it's a different ball game because when it comes to footwork and stuff like that, Canelo's not that good. He's just not.
No, he's not. Look, every man's beatable. I was just watching the Bruno Tyson documentary before I come on this show. It's fucking an amazing watch. I'm gonna have to try and get that back on playback. But Bruno kept saying when Tyson was unbeaten, this guy is not indestructible. You reporters are making out this guy can't ever be beat. He can be. And Bruno kept preaching. Obviously, Bruno was never the man to do it, but he could see that every man is beatable, no matter who you are. I mean, look,
that's right.
There's not one guy you can go down the list and think. I mean, we could say Calzaghe, but not many fighters you can look down and say they've never been beat. Most fighters have been beat. So
and even Calzaghe had some close decisions go his way. Like
there's a couple there that you could have said. Yeah, there's a couple there that you could have said that gone the other way. I mean, look, unbeaten records. You need a bit of luck in an unbeaten record.
Exactly.
Really. You do need a couple of decisions to go your way when you're fighting that often. Because look, human beings are just not. It's impossible for a human being to turn it on and look world class in every performance. It's just not.
That's
so
true.
one day you'll turn up and you're not on your game, and someone.
By the way,
good fight and it's close and that, like you maybe just nicked it, sort of.
Or you could just be due for a bad performance. You just
of course, mate.
Be that night. Yeah.
But it's usually you do need a couple of decisions go your way when it comes to unbeaten runs. Like even with Floyd, I mean, most people would agree that I think Castillo won that first fight. Do you know what I mean? So.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, listen. Sorry we gotta end it. Like I said, fellas, because we are premiering the documentary in about 10 minutes now. So it's at 6 p.m. Eastern. We gotta go, Gonzalo. Sorry, but
you gonna have people on the panel, or it's just like a documentary?
It's a document. The video is essentially just premiering. So it's you can be in the chat, but it's not a live stream. In other words, the video is already been uploaded. It's just gonna you're gonna be allowed to watch it at 6 p.m. But it's not it's not a live stream. We're not on Discord or anything.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
I think it makes sense.
Bits from our show as well on there.
Was that?
Is there little clips from our shows as well on there?
There's a couple, yeah. You and Recognize make an appearance. Gonzalo, I couldn't find any. Again, I was a little bit pressed for time. The deadline was due, so I couldn't feed everybody. But Gonzalo and everybody.
Yeah. me and Stu has something to say about that.
No, but anyway, listen. Everybody gets a shout out.
I must have done about 30 hours on that fight now, so I'm sure you could have found one clip of mine. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. You stayed up till 3 a.m. here, and over there it was 7 in the morning over there in UK. So yeah, you put in your time. Well, listen, fellas,
well, the thing is, watching Deontay Wilder get his ass whooped, it fucking sort of woke me up again. I felt like a new man. I was ready to go again. Do you know what I mean? It was like a burst of energy from nowhere when seeing Wilder get his ass whooped.
He's a fucking bum. I told you. That's what he came in and said.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, I think I over-gloated that day, but it was just frustration coming out from the Wilderettes. I mean, they drove me insane, and just watching Wilder get pieced up like that was a beautiful thing.
Well, we're going to work on that. We're going to explore all that in the documentary. It's going to be premiering in 8 minutes. So, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Let's do it. All right, man.
Let's do it. Recognize Stu, Gonzalo. Thank you for joining us, fellas.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Gonzalo. Take it easy, man.
Yeah.
Everybody who called in, everybody who donated, Chris K, Virtuoso, and Michael Poe. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. And the contributions. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Brendan Jackson, Who's Your Daddy, Clint Beastwood, Brendan Jackson, Marcy D, The Shepherd of Sons, Ignorant Boxing, Life and Logic, DJ N1, Carlos Mendoza. I know Triple JJJ was here as well. I think I saw him earlier on. Wesley M, Enoch Powell. Shout out to Enoch. Terry Smooth, Jack Napier, DJ N1. I already mentioned him. Tin Ravid, I think. And many more. And if I forgot anybody, we do have to go. But stay tuned then for the documentary. There's the link right there for the upcoming documentary. Hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy seeing it as much as we enjoy doing it. And we'll catch you in the next one, folks. Thank you for watching. Take it easy. Did I say take it easy? Yes, I did. What the fuck?
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.